All right, the time has come. I'm putting Reggie on the hot seat with What Does It Mean, covering all the latest hot topics in Minnesota sports. First up, Rams Pro Bowl wideout Cooper Kupp signed a 3-year,
Woo!
$80 million extension that included $75 million in guaranteed money and is
My
worth $100
goodness.
million over the next 5 years, according to Adam Schefter. You know what I'm going to ask you, Reggie? What does it
Yeah.
mean for the Vikings and the deal they have to get done when it comes time to retain Justin Jefferson's services?
Luke, real quick. You quiet. Shh. You hear that? You hear that?
What is that?
Beep, 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 beep. That's the Brinks truck backing up to Egan, the Vikings facility. That's happening because it's gonna be time for JJ to get paid. Justin Jefferson is arguably, some may put him in the conversation as the best wide receiver in the league. He's certainly at the top five, top three wide receivers in the league. Just came into this league, took it by storm. And you're talking about a guy who is still ascending, but the greatness that is there already. I'm thinking he's going to be a 2,000-yard receiver, double-digit touchdown receiver in this offense next year. He looked at Cooper Kupp's production, I'm sure. He looked at OBJ's production in the Rams offense with O'Connell being there and probably he's just like, you ever seen like that big juicy piece of steak and you're just so hungry and your mouth is just like watering? Like, I'm sure that is where he is right now. He's just like, ooh, like he's got that grill in his mouth. Like he can't even contain himself. He's going to be able to buy 1 million more of those grills when it's all said and done, because you give a guy $75 million guaranteed, and make no mistake about it, Cooper Kupp deserved that money.
Oh, no doubt.
Because
Triple crown winner, no doubt.
I mean, the dude, like, he's one of those dudes that, like, is just an assassin, and you just really just try to figure out, like, how is he doing this? Like, how is he getting open so much? What is going on? But, looking at it, JJ is the same type of dude. Like, he always finds a way to get open. He's a home run threat anytime he touches the ball. Like, the dude just gets it done. And he is literally, like, I think he got robbed when it comes to first team All-Pro. They gave it to Debo, and they accounted for Debo's rushing yards and all that stuff. When Debo is saying now that he doesn't even like doing that. But that helped him earn that All-Pro status. And now, he's trying to get traded away from the 49ers and get a good deal. But it's just like, look, get it how you live, bruh. Because pretty soon, they are going to have to pay. And also, they could take a page out of the Rams book, because I don't know how the Rams are able to afford all these guys. They're still talking about they want to sign OBJ to a deal as well. And my thought is, where are you getting this money from?
Is the cap real? Is this a real thing?
Obviously not with them. I don't know if they call Roger up. Hey, Roger, so we need a little bit more money. We got to keep our guys, man. Roger's like, I guess. Fine. Here you go. Don't tell everybody else, though, but here's a couple more $1 million just to help you guys out. It wouldn't be the first time that, the whole, I'm not even going to go there. But I think it's crazy. It seems like the Rams are printing money at this point. And so Kwesi, I know he's a numbers guy. He's a money guy, manipulating the cap and all that good stuff. But they have to find a way. What luxury that they have that they were able to trade away Stephon Diggs and then draft Justin Jefferson. Like, we've seen it recently where these receivers have come into the league and set the league on fire. But we've also seen on the flip side of it where these guys come into the league and you're like, oh, okay, we're still kind of waiting on them to really like make a splash. And that could have been the case with Justin Jefferson. Obviously, that's not the case. The dude is a bona fide superstar in this league. And start counting them pennies up, start saving them ducats, because it's gonna be time to pay up real soon. Real soon.
One of the huge premium values of a first-round pick is you get that fifth-year option. So you basically get an extra year at kind of that rookie money. But, with somebody like JJ, I mean, some of these times these deals get done in the 4th year or
Yeah.
before the 5th year starts, because you don't want a disgruntled employee, basically, right? Especially when it's one of the faces of your franchise. So you kind of work with them, meet in the middle a little bit, and say, let's just get this deal done and make both
Absolutely.
sides happy. So it's certainly something to keep in mind that, okay, technically on paper, JJ's entering his 3rd year. You might get 3, 4, 5, so 3 more seasons at rookie money. But I highly doubt the Vikings front office will let it get to that stage in the contract.
Yeah,
You
don't do
should see
that to
something
him.
done. Yeah, you should see something done, I would assume, by next offseason before he gets into his 4th year. All right, next one. What does it mean? The Boston Celtics use their home court advantage to hold off the Warriors and take Game 3 116-110. What does it mean when it comes to the more concerning loss? Steph Curry in the final few minutes of Game 3, or losing Game 3 itself, now being down 2-1? Thoughts on the series as it stands now?
Oh, the loss of Steph Curry is definitely concerning because, like, he walked away limping, after Al Horford just put his whole big body on him. What are you doing, my guy? Going for a loose ball like that? Like, the game was pretty much over at that point anyway. The Warriors were just trying to, like, figure out if there was a way that they could try to come back at all. But that game was toast anyway. And so, give it to Horford for the effort, but, like, you just probably injured their superstar. And without Steph, they are nothing. Because in those stretches yesterday when Steph was in foul trouble and he was out of the game, the Warriors had nothing. And you like to think that Jordan Poole would step up, but he didn't have much last night either. And it's just like you can't really count on him. Like, he had a great Game 2, but then Game 3, not much going on. And then who else are you going to count on? I mean, Klay quietly had a pretty good night, but Klay Thompson is not the same Klay Thompson that we saw before the ACL, and especially not before the Achilles as well. Like, he just doesn't have that same burst, that same explosion. He's not the same guy. He's Klay. He can still hit you some crazy shots, but, like, it's just something's just off, And they kind of look like that team that, they beat the Bulls record that year. And it was like, they're a good team. They play with good flow. But when you go ahead and go against these teams, I should say, that have, these weapons, these superstars that can just go get a bucket. I mean, Jaylen Brown kind of does the Giannis thing several times a game where he's just like, you know what? I'm not passing this. I'm going to back up, dribble back, reset, and then I'm going full speed ahead to the basket. You try to stop me. And more times than not, it happens. It works out. Jason Tatum, crazy acrobatic shots that he gets in ISO one-on-one situations. The Warriors don't have a guy who can do that. Maybe Wiggins from time to time, but sometimes you just wonder where his head is sometimes. Like, you're just like, is he here or is he, in Jupiter somewhere, just trying to figure out what the stars look like from another planet? Like, where is he? And Draymond is just all talk at this point. Like, I think he does more harm than he does good for the Warriors sometimes. And he does all that yapping. I tweeted last night, Draymond needs to stop all the talking and just go out there and hoop, man. Because, like, his little 9 points and the yapping that he does and, the physical play and mixing it up and muddying it up and all that stuff, like, that's not going to help this team. Like, they need some people that can help get some buckets. And Steph is the main person that is consistently getting them buckets. And if he's hurt, like, they're in a world of trouble because Boston, one thing about Boston, and that's something that happens with these young teams as well, they ain't scared. Like, they're like, look, you could come and, try to push and maybe play a little bit dirty and, try to talk and, try to get in our heads. Look, we're going out here and we're about to bust your behind. Come do something about it. And the Warriors sometimes seem just way too finesse about their game. And Steph Curry last night was a little bit of a microwave. His shooting helped keep them in it. Because if not for him, they would have gotten blown out. And so when you look at Game 4, and I'm calling it a must-win for the Warriors in this Game 4 because they need this one. they're going to have Steph, and they're going to have Steph at least 80 to 85% to have a chance. If not, Boston is going to roll because these boys are showing that, they've been through the fire. We've talked about it on this show several times. Like, they've been through the fire in that Eastern Conference, and they're not scared of no Warriors, especially without a guy like a Kevin Durant. Like, who do you look at other than Steph and you're just really scared of? But you're only scared of Steph because of his shooting ability. But if you kind of try to like lock him up, double him up, and make him force it to someone else to make shots, I don't think you're as confident in that next person as you are in Steph to step up. So good luck, Golden State. Good luck.
Celtics rode to the finals. They beat the Nets, Kyrie and KD. They beat the Bucks, last year's champion, and then they beat the Heat, the number 1 seed. Once they got in there, they're playing with house money, man. You're right. They ain't scared. I mean, nothing to lose. All the pressure's on you guys, Golden State. And they're going out there and they're just grinding these games totally as a team effort, not just one guy carrying the team. It's been a complete team game and performance. It's been a lot of fun to watch. And as far as Curry goes, he said after the game he thinks he'll be able to play. He'll give it 48 hours. We'll see. Obviously, they tip off Friday night, 8 p.m. But sometimes you wake up that next day from an injury. You don't think it's too bad, and you wake up, things are a little tight. Things aren't moving quite as well. We'll see how today goes, and we'll
He's
get an
had a history, too, of ankle injuries.
Right.
So that's not good.
Not good at all. Again, Game 4 tomorrow night, ABC, 8 o'clock tip-off. Huge Game 4. Reggie's calling it a must-win for the Warriors. Reggie, you survived the gauntlet.